Major spoilers. It goes without saying that you should not watch this video if you haven't watched all of Cyberpunk Edgerunners. You have been warned. The goal of this video is to help you process the ending of the show. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to listen to the soundtrack, think about the show, and even re-watch it by yourself or with someone else? You know, without slowly and painfully dying inside every time? And wouldn't it be nice to have a good feeling about having watched this amazing anime? To feel good about having had the chance to experience something like this and to feel all of these emotions? It's a masterpiece because of how evocative and impactful it is. But just because the ending hit you like a sack of bricks doesn't mean the ending is all you should take away from it. Don't let the heaviness of your reaction to the ending tempt you to push Cyberpunk Edgerunners into the distant corners of your mind, just waiting to be smothered by a new series and forgotten about shortly after. By processing the end of the show and letting go of this emotional heaviness, you'll be able to appreciate it even more, to see the whole story much more clearly, and not only that, but to apply what you've learned from it and turn the painful emotions into a positive, motivating force for your life and relationships. In other words, yes, this show messed me up so badly that I decided to make a YouTube channel and do a guided therapy video to help myself and other people process it. You can judge me all you want, but you'll never be able to hurt me as much as Cyberpunk Edgerunners did. But thank God there was at least that one scene where Rebecca unlocked her full power and reversed Atom Smasher's attack, blew him away, and escaped with Falco and Lucy. If it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have been able to collect myself enough to put this together. Anyway, onto the video. Let's start with the final scene where Lucy is on the moon by herself remembering David. Notice whatever feelings come up for you. For me, it felt like someone was sticking a knife in my heart and twisting it around, and I just got this awful sinking feeling in my stomach. Notice what you feel and what you experience internally as you think about that final scene. Now consider this. As hard as it is to watch, imagine how depressing it would have been if Lucy never went to the moon at all. If she was too broken over David's death and the show just ended with her binge drinking alone in her apartment, drowning her grief while looking at that poster she has of the astronaut. Now think back to the actual ending of the show with her going to the moon and realize that the message is that her meeting David and falling in love was a blessing, not a curse. Those memories are to be cherished forever. The end of the show is Lucy literally and figuratively letting some light back in after David's death, despite her grief, as she remembers being in love with him and the connection they had. She spreads her arms and lets the warmth of the sun wash over her. If that scene hurts you so much that you can't even stand thinking about it, and you've just been depressed ever since watching it, consider asking yourself some questions. Are you closing yourself off from good things in life because you're afraid they're going to hurt you in the end? Are you letting grief, or the fear of it, keep you from getting close to anyone or even making an attempt to? Is that fear of loss preventing you from pursuing something you want to pursue? From experiencing something new and exciting because you're afraid of losing it or something going wrong? Do you believe that it's not possible to cherish your good memories? That all you'll ever feel when you remember good memories is pain and sadness, so you might as well never make any good memories in the first place? Consider what your life might be like if you continue to hold on to those beliefs without challenging them. Don't miss the point of the end of the show. While it may hurt beyond words to be separated from the ones we love, depriving yourself of the chance to meet them and make memories with them in the first place is not the solution. Also notice how you're only focusing on the pain and not on any of the good feelings. Have you ever felt really attracted to someone? Have you ever been in love? Have you ever had fun with friends or family, or interesting or meaningful interactions with complete strangers? Or went out of your comfort zone and did something new and ended up being glad that you did? The key is to realize that Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a mirror reflecting your own memories, emotions, and beliefs back at you. This is the most major step in processing and making peace with it if you just can't shake the sadness and emptiness after watching it. Look at all the good that happened. All the characters in the show, and all the deep bonds and connections that were formed. The connection David had with his mom, the initial spark of excitement and attraction he felt the first time he saw Lucy, and the relationship they had, the father-son, mentor-apprentice relationship between Maine and David, and Rebecca just being a fun-loving, unrepentingly violent psychopath. If you focus on nothing but pain and loss, you're going to miss out on everything else. All the gifts left behind by the ones you're grieving for. As far as this show goes, ask yourself what those gifts are. For me, it was waking up memories and emotions I forgot about a long time ago. A lot of stuff I'd blocked myself from feeling. And also, just being able to enjoy some truly amazing animation, voice acting, and having a chance to connect with all the characters in the show by getting to know their stories. Take a minute to think about what you took away from the show and why you're glad you watched it. Speaking of which, David's story has some great lessons too. I'd summarize it by saying that while David was deeply traumatized, he was not just a compilation of trauma. He had a lot of pride in his abilities, felt special for having them, and he had a desire to see how far he could take them. He found a place to belong with Maine's gang as a member and eventual leader, he found love with Lucy, and he never forgot his mom and did his best in the end to honor her memory by realizing his full potential in his own way. And most notably, at the very end, right before he dies, he says, "Whatever, Choom, like I give a shit." This is the person he was before his mom died, before he met Lucy or Maine, and after. Trauma or no trauma, David went out not only with his faculties completely intact, but in a final moment of defiance where he remembered who he truly was. He was at peace knowing he'd saved the life of the person he loved more than anything, and he went out with a smile and a bang as David Martinez. Fully human again, despite physically and poetically being almost completely robotic. So, back to you. If you felt saddened by the ending, what are you saddened about in your own life? If you wished any of the characters in the show made different choices, or you wish that it ended differently, what different choices do you wish you would make? What kind of story would you want left behind when your life is over? Notice how deeply you might be thinking about the characters and their stories and realize that this is a reflection of yourself. What really hurts the most is memories and emotions it brings up from your own story. And maybe even what's happening in your own story right now. The good news is that if you're listening to this, your story isn't over yet. If you feel overwhelmed with grief or sadness due to your own traumas in life, remember that none of us is going to make it out of here alive, and we're also not even here for a long time. It's going to be over before you know it, so take some time to think about how you can make it count. Consider what your potential might be, what you dream of accomplishing, and what you want to experience with other people. You just might start to see the value in opening yourself up to the light in the world that might be trying to get to you.